Hello, ladies and gentlemen. What a glorious day. I remember the morning that I first asked the meaning of the word love. This was before I knew many words. I had found a few early violets in the garden and brought them to my teacher. "What is love?" I asked. She drew me close to her and said, "It is here," pointing to my heart, whose beats I was conscious of for the first time. Her words puzzled me very much because I did not understand anything unless I touched it. I smelt the violets in her hand and asked, half in words and half in signs, "Is love the sweetness of flowers?" "No," said my teacher. Again I thought, the warm sun is shining on us. "Is this not love?" I asked, pointing in the direction from which the heat came. "Is this not love?" It seemed to me there could be nothing more beautiful than the sun, whose warmth makes all things grow. But Miss Sullivan shook her head, and I was greatly puzzled and disappointed. A day or two afterwards, I was stringing beads of different sizes in symmetrical groups. I had made many mistakes, and Miss Sullivan had pointed them out with gentle patience. Finally, I noticed a very obvious error, and for an instant, I concentrated on how I should have arranged the beads. Miss Sullivan touched my forehead and spelled into my hand, with decided emphasis, "Think." For a long time, I was still. I wasn't thinking of the beads in my lap, but trying to find a meaning for love in light of this new idea. The sun had been under a cloud all day, but suddenly it broke through in all its southern splendor. Again, I asked my teacher, "Is this not love?" "Love is something like the clouds that were in the sky before the sun came out," she replied. "You cannot touch the clouds, you know, but you feel the rain and know how glad the flowers and the thirsty earth are to have pour into everything. Without love, you would not be happy or want to play." The beautiful truth burst upon my mind. I felt there were invisible lines stretched between my spirit and the spirit of others. In a society where she would have most certainly been condemned to a life of fearful limitation and mortality, Helen Keller rose and soared above everyone's expectations to become a symbol of triumph over adversity, making disability seem less threatening. And though Helen Keller lived in a world of silence and darkness, prejudice and discrimination, silence, as I've said so often for myself, is the last thing the world ever heard from her. Helen Keller, young woman and girl, complex and enigmatic, blind and deaf, on this 20th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, your inspiration rings more loudly and shines more brightly today.